A poor blacksmith, no noble lineage, no knightly title, but today he is the only one who can save the kingdom. The 13th century, a tiny village nestled at the foot of the majestic Alps in the Holy Roman Empire. The wind howls through humble thatched roofs, and smoke rises from a blazing forge. In that village lives a young man named Reinhard, a poor blacksmith, his clothes stained with soot, his hands calloused from hammer and anvil. But in his eyes burns a dream so wild, so bold, they called it madness, to become a knight, a commoner with no noble blood, no title. How could he dare to dream of wielding a sword and wearing shining armor? But here's the thing, folks. Reinhard didn't just dream, he dared to act. One day, as Reinhard toiled by his roaring forge, sweat dripping onto the stone floor, a mysterious traveler stepped in. This wasn't your average wanderer. His eyes seemed to pierce through time itself. He looked at Reinhard, flashed a cryptic smile, and declared, "Fire tests gold, hardship tests strength. You'll stand at a crossroads, rise to greatness, or fade into eternal shadow." Reinhard laughed it off. Greatness? For a lowly blacksmith like him, that sounded like a fairy tale. But listen up, friends. Sometimes destiny doesn't knock politely. It kicks the door down and dares you to step up. Not long after, word spread like wildfire. The King of Bavaria was summoning soldiers to face a ruthless invading army. Reinhard's heart pounded. This was his shot to break free from the forge's shadow. He raced to enlist, only to be met with a cold slap of reality. "You're no noble. Go back to pounding iron." But here's where it gets good, folks. Rejection didn't break him. It fueled him. Reinhard returned to his forge, and under the flickering flames, he did something extraordinary. He crafted a suit of armor, not just any armor, but a masterpiece, lighter, tougher, stronger than anything those fancy knights had ever seen. And when the village slept, he trained. Hammer in hand, anvil as his foe, he forged not just steel, but himself into a warrior. Then came the day of reckoning. The enemy stormed in like a tidal wave, shattering defenses, chaos reigning supreme. But in the darkest hour, a figure charged from the village. Reinhard, clad in his hand-forged armor, wielding the massive hammer he once used to shape iron, he stormed the battlefield like a force of nature. Can you see it, folks? One man, no sword, no shield, just a blacksmith's hammer and a will of steel, taking down dozens of foes. The enemy trembled. His allies stood in awe. He didn't just fight, he inspired. And there, amid the clash of steel and the cries of war, the king himself saw it. Not a blacksmith, but a true knight. Right there on that blood-soaked field, he knighted Reinhard, a commoner shattering centuries of tradition. After that battle, Reinhard's name echoed far and wide. He became a legend, a symbol of grit, of rising above fate. And then, that mysterious traveler returned, smiling as he said, "You chose the path of greatness. But remember this, it's not the sword or the armor that makes a knight, it's the heart and the will." Friends, Reinhard's tale isn't just a story, it's a wake-up call. No matter where you start, no matter what you do, if you dare to dream big and forge yourself through the fires of struggle, nothing is impossible. Reinhard did it, so what about you? Let that fire inside you roar and write your own legend.